Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Russian Tier 8 Premium Medium tank, the T54 Mod 1. Now this is a tank that you can earn on the Season Pass at the minute. For most people they've probably earned it by now, others might be getting towards the end of the season finishing, because the season does end in about, I think it's 12 days, I'm not quite sure on that one. But yeah, so most people will have earned this probably by now and probably have been playing it, and for those that still haven't, well, we're just going to go over what it's like. So, the T54 Mod 1, well, this was released a little while after its skinned version, its hero tank version, I think is probably what it's called, the hero tank, the Motherland. Now, the Motherland was the first ever earn-up tank in this game. It was the first tank that they said, yo, you can go earn this tank for free. You had to play Russian tanks, you had to get so much XP in only Russian tanks. I remember those days. That was like the first time I truly started grinding stuff in this game. Back then I really was a casual player and I probably played like 10 games a week or something like that. Less than that. A little bit more than that, sorry. I really didn't play this game that much. And this Motherland calls up that happened and I started playing the game a bit more. So I thought, oh, a free premium tank. You know what? Let's grind that out. I was only at about 1,000 battles, because I played PC a bit more back then, and it was like, yeah, let's do that. And I earned the Motherland. And back then, when the Motherland came out, in the Motherland Calls Up, it was an absolute beast. It really was. It was a fantastic tank because it had reasonable mobility, right? And that still does. It has reasonable mobility. It's not great, but it's not terrible. But that was what it was like back then, to be honest, more than anything. But for that mobility that wasn't that great, and it was just okay, it had great armour. Back then, when they released this tank had armour that was fantastic. It bounced a lot of tanks. Just tanks struggled to pen it. And it was great. It's a very good side scraper, it is good at that, and the turret armour on this tank is reasonable when you're facing against things with about 210, 220 pen. And if you get it hulled down in an angle, it can be better than that. But the gun handling isn't great, the view range isn't great, like I say, the mobility is nah. And generally the whole tank as a whole isn't that good anymore. This is truly one of those tanks that has been PowerCrept very, very hard. Like a tank like the T54 100 is better than this tank in pretty much every way except for the hull armour. And that's just a sad fact of it. I mean, the T54 100 can side scrape just as well as this tank. The turret armor rate is good on the T54 100 as this tank. But everything else about the tank, like the mobility, the view range, the gun handling, the DPM, is just so much better. And this tank is definitely one of those that is PowerCrept. And I would say these days, since the release of so many other tanks that can just wreck this thing straight up, I would say that this is a fairly poor medium tank. Reasonably, to be honest. So what I run in terms of equipment, well, I run a rammer, vert stabs and optics. Rammer, because the DPM isn't that great for a 250 alpha medium tank compared to what's out there now, like the T54 100 for example. And you want to buff that up as high as possible with the gun rammer and obviously rapid reload skill. You also want to be running vert stabs because the gun handling on this tank, even in post 6.0 world, still isn't that great without the gun rammer. It still feels a bit trashy. And optics because, well, the tank is 360 meters view range. It's pretty blind and you have to have that view range as high as possible. Now the camo on the tank is actually pretty damn diddly decent. So if you can buff up the camo with some of the perks as well, that's quite nice. And it can be stealthy, but the thing is, it's meant to be a brawling medium tank. That's the whole reason for it, really, and the differences between this and the T54 100. But it can't really brawl anymore that successfully unless the tanks you're facing don't have that good a pen. And you really have to know what you're facing to be able to use the armour correctly. It's got 190 pen, 247 premium. That's okay. Same as T54 100. It can be useful, but like I said, just the whole tank isn't, I don't know, isn't that great a tank anymore. It's just not that competitive. It really does struggle away. Now, obviously, the games you're seeing now are for its best situations, and games that really show what the tank can do at its best. Now, obviously, I could show you games where it sucks out and dies, and I go out with like 1600 damage, which happens reasonably often. But quite frankly, those games are terrible to watch, and you don't ever want to watch those. So I'll show you the replays for the tank at its best, so that you know that in these sorts of situations, this is how you play it, and this is how you can get the best out of it. So we're on cliff, and I was going to go into this bowl area where the encounter cap is, but I've decided, you know what, I'm going to side scrape off this rock. Those two or three guys went into that middle section. It's just death for me going in there, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go in. I'm not going to go in, I'm going to side scrape off this rock. There's not many TDs, so I don't think there's going to be much camping down that 1-2 line, so that's why I've taken this position. If there was lots of high pen TDs down there, like the SU-130PM, ISU-130, and lots of other tanks like Charioteer and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have taken this position, because they will just destroy your armour really easily, even side scraping. If they catch the front of your turret, they'll pen it. So anyway, in terms of my crew that I do run in this tank as well, by the way, I run Rapid Reload, Trap Mechanic, Born Leader, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camo Expertise, Steady Aim, Snapshot, and Run and Gun. I run all the gun perks to make the gun as good as possible, because like I said, the gun is a bit poo. And the Camouflage Expertise, just to try and milk a little bit more out of the camo, because it can be quite useful in that situation. Even though it is a brawling medium tank, it is nice to be able to sit at a distance sometimes and be able to not get spotted while making the use of this gun. So far we've managed to get a few good shots into people down this 1-2. We've managed to get 1 or 2 shots into the CS-53 in front of us, and we're bouncing a decent amount as well by side scraping this rock. We managed to get a nice shot into the Type 59 there. He's another tank that is pretty damn diddly PowerCrept, and he's another one from the same sort of, or similar sort of era to this tank. You see the bad gun handling there, where we pretty much fully aimed on the back end of that CS-53 and it just hit somewhere and missed. We managed to get a shot into his back end, track him and set him on fire. We managed to bounce another shot from the Type 59. This is what I'm talking about, facing tanks that you know you can bounce, right? Type 59, from the front, I know I can bounce it. Unless he fires premium, he's going to pen us. If he doesn't and he sticks with his standard round, he's just going to bounce off us quite a lot of the time. So I'm quite happy to pull out with my frontal armour to him slightly angled, because I know I can bounce him. We're up to 2.5k damage, 2.2k assist, which is nice. And I want to get rid of this CS-53, because this guy's going to be a pain. He is one of the new fangled premium tanks. We auto-aimed shot like a potato, hit the rock in front of us. We shouldn't have done that. Then we actually auto-aimed the shot perfectly, properly this time, and pen him and finish off. He is one of those new fangled premium tanks. If he faced us head-on, out in the open, one-on-one, he would have destroyed us very, very easily. But he didn't play it right, and we ended up destroying him. So now I want to come around this corner and go after this Type 59 that was after us. We drive around the corner and find an icebreaker, so we get a shot through the side of him there. And we boost our reload with food so that we get the best out of it. But now that Type 59 spotted, we get a shot through the side of him. And I want to get rid of this Type 59, because he's out in the open. He's in the perfect place for him to shoot. We get another one into him. We put him down to a one-shot now. So we're hopefully going to finish him off. But unfortunately, he gets spotted. We pop a shot blind, and unfortunately, we don't hit him. And now we finish off the Type 59-2. Not Type 59, sorry, it's not Type 59-2. We're now getting shot by an E25 who's come up behind us to try and use his good DPM. But now we've got a front to him. Even with premium, he's probably going to bounce every shot because he's only got 190 pen. And that will probably, especially if we angle, he won't be able to pen us. He made the mistake of face hugging us there. It was never going to work for him, and we managed to shut him down. If we were in a T54 100 there with that guy face hugging us, he probably would have killed us, or maybe not killed us, because we probably killed him in less time, but it would have taken most of our health with him. And yeah, he made the mistake of taking on the T54 Mod 1 in a head-to-head battle. That's just not what you want to do. But now we're only down to a premium round, so we're up to 4.2k damage, which is an amazing game already for this tank. And we're hull down, so we're going to get a shot into the Pantera there. This Vanguard's coming in. We don't like Vanguards. We want to get rid of them. Unfortunately, we missed time. Our shot there, we pulled the trigger just before we reloaded, which meant we missed. He then rams a 45 TP, because why not? And now we're facing this icebreaker, which we just bounced a shot off our turret. We've only got premium in, so we can actually pen this guy reliably through the lower plate. So we're just going to keep doing that. I know if I keep shooting this guy through the lower plate, I will destroy his engine, because the engine on that thing is trash. We get shot by the Pantera, react in time there to realise that we're getting shot by something. And then we end up bouncing him on the front of our turret, which is Perfect. Get another shot into him, and I assume now, with him firing two there, that he's actually fired his whole clip. And if we see his gun here, he's got the small dinky gun, because if you look at the gun in front of us, he's not got gun breech, or not gun breech, muzzle protector or whatever. I can't think of the word right now. He's not got a muzzle brake. That's the word I'm looking for. Which means he's got the stock gun with like 160 odd pen, and it's a 2-shot autoloader. So that means he's fired all his clip. So I knew I could actually go up and attack that guy and keep popping shots and safely pull up. And as well as that, he's got poor pen, so easy enough to bounce. We get some nice shots into the icebreaker. Looking for a shot at the stockade. Unfortunately, he gets destroyed just before. We get a nice shot into the side of the AMX M445, and unfortunately, we're not quite reloading to get any of these kills. We've managed in this game to do most damage to people, but not quite get the shots to kill people. And we're really unfortunate in that way, but we did end up with an absolutely tremendous amount of damage for a tank like this. And we finished with the victory. 4 kills, 6.5k damage, 2.7k base XP, 2.3k assist. That's about 8.8k combined. Ace tanker, high caliber Confederate. That was this tank in its best scenario, where tanks don't bum rush it, that can pen it, and they're happily shooting at your side while you're side scraping, because side scraping is a strength of this tank. But compared to everything else out there nowadays, this is a very PowerCrept tank, and it's one that probably do a little bit of love with maybe its mobility or its gun handling. I don't know, either one. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!